Hello, you're watching The Mainstream. I'm Khushbu Soni, the founder and chief editor at The Mainstream. Today, we are going to be talking about the digital evolution of India's financial sector, and I'm thrilled to invite our guest for the same. We have Mr. Naval, the Chief Technology Officer at Axis Finance Limited, and we also have Mr. Anurag Mathur, the Vice President and National Head BFSI at Tata Communications. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, both need no introduction, but I'm going to take a few seconds to do that. Naval is an accomplished CTO with 3 decades of experience in strategic IT application, stakeholder engagement, and technology leadership. With deep expertise in retail banking, IT applications, Naval has consistently driven efficiency and innovation in critical areas as wealth management, collections, and process automation, influencing both business strategies and technology direction. Naval, thank you so much for joining once again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Anurag, you've been on Mainstream earlier, but I'm just going to take a few seconds to introduce you once again. Anurag is a Vice President and National Head for the BFSI sector at Tata Communications, where he has worked for almost 18 years. He plays a key role in establishing Tata Communications as a preferred technology partner for BFSI enterprises in India, focusing on designing and executing the go-to-market strategy for the sector. Thanks, Anurag.
Thank you.
Superb. So, while we're talking about the digital evolution of the financial sector, given the evolving landscape, Naval, I want to begin putting my first question to you. There's a lot of focus on the regulations and the compliance requirement on the financial sectors. How do you see these changes impacting the whole sector and especially the NBFCs?
Right. So today, as we go, so RBI is coming up with a lot of circulars, lot of master directions when it comes to IT outsourcing, overall IT governance. How do we go about it? How do we plan our applications? So I clearly see there are requirements coming in when it comes to audits, compliance, when it comes to risk, overall risk framework, like how do we plan for the early warning systems, early signals when it comes to information security, information technology. So that is clearly coming in. It definitely will lead to impact on the way we operate, the way we actually, in Axis Finance, we are primarily into lending business. So how do we lend in that case? How do we plan for more capital investors? It also brings in a lot of asks on technology. So how do we make our technology setup applications more resilient, break-free, fault-free? And it is basically not break in case of information security attacks, malware attacks, etc. People. So people needs a lot of training when it comes to even IT operations, IT planning, IT execution. At the same time, the people training where it comes to compliances. So the businesses, how do we do the business? How do we train our collection people? So all these impacts are coming in. So it is definitely putting in more challenges, but given the business we are in, there is no escape out of it. So you have to comply, ensuring my systems are in place, my businesses are complying with whatever ask RBI is coming up with, and we deliver as per the expectations. At the same time, a business is growing, it will grow. We will have to bring in a lot of new technologies, new automations. So that's what actually caused the challenges.
I mean, I can understand. And also with so much of evolution and expansion that's happening, how do you kind of strategize, Naval, in terms of selecting the right partner for hyperscalers, for cloud computing, for private cloud? What kind of strategies that you use to select the right partner?
So it goes very closely align with the business strategy which we actually draw. When I say business strategy, like whether I can put my data on cloud, whether the data is sensitive, whether the data needs a lot of protection, whether the data and the partner which we are choosing, whether he is having geographically present in India, so it should not, the data should not go outside. What kind of security controls he has put in, whether we have right people within our technology teams who can do the cloud basically operations, cloud migration. So a lot of things actually will impact while taking the right decision. So where it comes to hyperscalers like AWSs or GCBs of the world, or whether we look at the private cloud offerings, or whether we should look at a hybrid kind of a setup. So a lot of things will impact, and accordingly the right decision and the partner will be selected. But it depends on how business is actually growing, what is the business expectation, and within the compliance and regulatory framework, whether we are doing the right thing. So that comes first, and accordingly the right solution and partner is chosen.
Got it. Got it. And right, you've been interacting with, a lot of banking, financial organizations and NBFCs. What are some of the trends that you've been seeing in the space? What is that you've been hearing from the C-suites in the industry?
Yeah, so if you see, BFSI space has always been a prime target for cyber attacks, obviously with the kind of valuable data, personal data and financial data that the organizations have with them. So what we are seeing is that while organizations have spent a lot in terms of putting in the cybersecurity solutions, but what we feel is they need to now relook at the entire security strategy once again, because the attackers are becoming more smarter, and we are seeing even AI generated attacks being targeted over the banks and financial institutions. So from that perspective, I think they need to look at the entire perspective of their security gamut, and also look at more of cyber resilience initiatives have to be taken. Rather than just looking at the security technologies, it has to be prevented. Right. So at Tata Communications, what we are also looking at is a principle of ADR, what we call as anticipation, defend, and then respond or recover. So that is where how we are looking at the industry shaping up, and we are looking at things like, how can you predict an attack in terms of how anticipate an attack prior to even it hitting the customer. And the second thing, if it hits, then how do you defend it? Obviously, you have to have a strong mechanism to defend these attacks. And the last important thing is recovery. In case it is not mitigated, then how do you recover fast? So your compliance, your DR systems, your backup systems have to be strongly knit so that you have a quick recovery plan as well in place. So today, as Tatacom being one of the largest internet operator in the world, we are actually observing 25 million packets per minute. That's the kind of scale of what we are observing. And we have created a very strong threat intel feed. And that's somewhere we are sort of helping our customers in terms of staying ahead of the attacks by providing that intelligence feeds into the system. So that's one area. And as Naval mentioned about compliance, the regulators, because as the things are changing and the attack surface is increasing, specifically in the BFSI space, because of the lot of digitization, the attack surface is increasing. And you see a lot of circulars coming from the regulators in terms of compliance. So we also help through our security consulting and assessment practice. We also help them to remain compliant. And one important point he touched upon is the employee training. So the employees need to be also educated a lot to see that the systems remain stable and safe.
Right, got it. Also, I think with now the DPDP rules that is expected to come by the 18th of February, there's a lot of changes that will come in place in terms of, so one is when the ransomware attack, etc., that happens, you report to certain, say within 6 hours, versus when now the DPDP rules says 72. So there's definitely a lot of changes that have got to come in, even from the whole cybersecurity posture that is looked at by every financial organization. DPDP says it's going to be across all verticals. And I think we all say, right, it's either so you're attacked and you're aware, or you're attacked and you're not aware. So it does, I think the incident response management, like you mentioned, is also going to be very, very key in this space. So, Naval, what strategic initiatives is Access Finance pursuing to capitalize on the technological advancements in the digital lending space, and how important is the collaboration with fintech partners to enhance these offerings?
Sure. So when it comes to new initiatives, especially now, digital is the buzzword, right? So we have to have solutions like which are directly customer facing. Digital, everybody wants everything on the fingertips today, all the customers, right? So the solutions which we build has to work seamlessly either on the mobile device or on a browser. It should be available and the UI and UX has to be attractive enough. It should be intuitive so that the user will use it seamlessly, because see, today customers are like very tech savvy. They are becoming very tech savvy. If you go in even the rural areas or semi-urban areas, people want it should be available on a mobile. Everybody first asks whether it is there in mobile. And if you see India population today, like almost everybody is having a mobile, a smartphone. So the solutions has to work on these devices. It should be very, very fast and responsive. Nobody wants to have a wheel going on and waiting for the response to come from the server. So it has to be thoroughly tested. So that's one part. Today, we are also investing in AI and generative AI. So lots of bots are coming. Bot when it comes to customer servicing or customer onboarding or helping the customer during the onboarding journeys, or answering to the questions which customer is having with respect to your product offerings. So all these are needed on the fingertips, and we are actually investing hugely in these technologies. So generative AI is coming in. The new things with respect to data. So again, data is something, and when I say data, it has to be like a data warehouse or a data lake house wherein we have all the data together. I should be able to run analytics, and that should help my businesses in addressing either the customer services or the new product offerings. So wherever we go. So again, this is needed on the fingertips to my sales, to my credit, to my operations, right? So this becomes very, very essential. So we have started our journeys with respect to our data and data strategy and data analytics, which will help my businesses. And of course, the overall the compliance framework. So these are the primary areas where we are focusing on offering of digital data, and of course overall from a resiliency perspective, how do I make my systems more resilient, break free? It should not break. It should be able to deliver to the ongoing demands, the growing businesses, and the user concurrency. So all these things matter the most when we design the solution. So these are the focus areas actually we are looking at. And your second question about fintechs. So fintech partnership is very, very important, especially when it comes to, we call it RUSU. So rural and urban offerings. So as a NBSC, of course, we are having our strategies expanding our businesses into the unbanked or untouched areas where we can offer solutions, we can offer digital solutions. So there, of course, fintech partnership is having immense importance. So when it comes to fintech, they have their solutions, they have their UI applications, they do the basically sourcing, and of course in the backend they integrate with our core systems. They feed the leads, and accordingly the processing happens and the loans are disbursed. So fintech with their offerings and with their presence, geographical presence, is immensely important. The kind of new solutions, new technologies they are bringing in, that is helping us in penetrating into more and more untouched areas, unbanked areas. So they are definitely playing and going to play a vital role, like when we offer the solutions to our customers.
Got it. Fantastic. Anurag, based on your engagement with customers across the BFSI, what trends you've been observing in specific areas like cloud adoption, and how does these approach to cloud solutions evolve as the businesses and the sectors evolve in?
Right. So if you see cloud adoption journey started, I think at least 3 to 4 years back.
Yes.
And now the way we are looking at is how do you fine tune whatever is gone on the cloud. So we call it as a cloud 2.0. What happened earlier was a lot of people went ahead and put everything, all the workloads on a public cloud, but they are now facing with a lot of challenges. The challenges are coming out in terms of the cost. Obviously, you're logged in with a vendor. Then there are security concerns also coming up. We are talking of data sovereignty, data privacy. So those things are also sort of becoming an issue for people who are completely on a public cloud. And also now with a lot of things moving on the edge, latency is also becoming an issue. So with this challenges coming up, we are seeing a lot of repatriation happening. And in fact, organizations are looking at a repatriation strategy. People are calling it as a decloud strategy. And that's where we see the industry now sort of fine tuning what should be on the cloud and what should not be on the cloud. That's how we are seeing the trends. In fact, now you have a private cloud, you have a public cloud, you have something which can be remain on-prem, something can go on a say a managed partner. So these are the various avenues where people are looking at how to put their workloads. So a close observation and examination of the workloads is the key, is how we are seeing the industry moving. At Tata Communications, that's the way we are also sort of looking at the overall cloud portfolio in terms of to offer a customer all the flavors so that he can have a seamless and a frictionless journey across the platform. And we're looking this as a platform-based service where they can consume various flavors of the cloud the way they want to and what suits best to their workload and application. So this is one major shift that we are looking in the cloud. As Mr. Naval also touched upon AI and Gen AI. So this is another big area which is going to bring a lot of changes in the way you are consuming cloud. The other part is a lot of things moving on the edge, and you want to have real-time decision making happening at the place where the action is, and that's where we are also looking at creating a capabilities around how can you have a processing at the edge itself. So edge computing, edge with the AI coupled is something which is going to change the trends.
Absolutely.
And just to add to his point, public versus private cloud is being debated, but I think as a NBFC, as a financial institution, what we are actually looking at is how do we leverage the hybrid kind of an offering, hybrid cloud. So based on the user requirements, based on my business requirements, I think we should make a right decision between what should go on a public cloud and what should be on a private cloud. So that I think we need to bring in and merge and have you can say a midpoint which can serve our businesses. So as a strategy, I think that is also been looked at when we are expanding more and more our journeys and solution offerings on cloud.
Fantastic. And I think also on the AI front, when you mentioned, so there were times when AI was getting adopted and now Gen AI, and now we're talking about agentic AI. So yeah, I think this is just going to evolve. Naval, before we end, I want to ask you as a leader in the financial sector, and you've been in this space for 3 decades, a piece of advice for our viewers. So I can tell you that all our viewers are basically tech and cyber enthusiasts. We are only a tech and cyber media company. So I'm sure they would, love to hear from you. Any piece of advice or any piece of advice for NBFCs or aspiring leaders in NBFCs in the tech space?
So for the youngsters, of course, I would say when we actually are in colleges and when we are learning, so we are into the textbooks and we have like certain focus on getting certain marks and grades and then getting a good campus. But at the same time, I think we should keep a tab of what is happening in the technology and what is coming in new. You should continuously keep on reading. So with the expansion of the internet and the reach of the internet now, the information is on the fingertips, right? So there is no end to learning. So in fact, today also, I spend at least 1.5 hours in keeping a tab of what is happening in the financial industry as well as otherwise also like what is happening in the technology. So you should continuously learn. That is the key. You cannot stop, and you have to choose your basically the career and the path where you want to go. Like in technology also you have so many options available, right? Be it financial sector, be it the marketing, be it the mechanical side of it, be it industry, be it healthcare, be it insurance. So many things are there. You have to basically decide. Of course, you have to spend some initial years in the industry and then decide where I will have to take my career further into. So that you should be clear, but continuous learning, continuously keeping you updated is the key. There is no two way about it, and technology is ever evolving. Like whatever was there 2 months or 3 months back, earlier we were talking about a technology changing in a year or 2 years, some new version coming in. Now, if you see the trend, things are changing within a couple of months, 3 months, right? So with this ever evolving, changing technology, you have to be like on the top of it, and you should know what is happening, and then focus your energies in learning those. Like,
Yeah, and I think today every business has a tech attached to it. Like every industry has a tech to it. Every organization, every homes, every business leaders, everybody's talking tech. So yeah, I think being on top of
so now tech is no more a service provider to our internal customers, but they have become like a center of it. Like it has become a spinal cord of the organization. So without tech, nothing will move, right? So there is so much of dependency on tech, and tech availability, tech running break free. That's most important thing. So we are not afford to have any downtimes. Even a 5 minutes downtime is like going to cause your reputation, right? Sure. So that is not allowed, and you have to accordingly take that challenge and ensure that the systems are available all the time. So that is going to be the key. Like, and we as a like CIO, CTO, our primary focus always remains, okay, my system is available, there is no downtime, there is no lag, customers are like, so I mentioned, right, nobody is wanting to wait even for a 10 seconds to come a response on a mobile. So you have to continuously update your systems also, and continuously monitor. That is the key, in fact.
true. So one is business continuity, second is resilience. Yeah. Superb. I think I have a surprise, Annie, and that's the rapid fire round. I have a couple of questions I'm going to shoot to both of you as a rapid. So whatever comes as first in your mind, other responses that you would like to share. So now to begin with you, what's one thing you have to do every morning to kickstart your day?
So, of course, like I don't miss out on my exercises. Absolutely no. Even during the COVID times, also I ensured I do exercise when it comes to brisk walking, do some weights, do some yogas. It's a mix of it. I don't miss out, and that definitely helped me during my during the COVID times where like. We have to struggle, right? So those 5 years or 4 years we struggle, but then it keeps me fresh, it keeps me agile, and gives a fresh air in the morning, so I don't miss out on that.
Superb. AI or human expertise?
It's a rather mix of both. So you have to leverage AI to bring in more and more automations, help my end users not to spend too much time in decisioning, and give a fast solutions. So it's a mix.
Got it. What's the most underrated tech trend people should pay more attention, should not pay more attention to, or pay more attention
I have not paid, in fact. So AI now with Gen AI, and Anurag also talked about edge. So I think edge AI is something we need to now focus more on, because see, maybe in the when we I said about RUSU, right, rural semi-urban areas, technology penetrating there. So today also, like, we feel maybe internet may not be available or may not be that fast, right, in those areas. So edge would definitely help there, because you are going to process or you more locally rather than depending on a cloud or internet availability, right? So I think that will definitely take pace, and we should leverage that maybe in the agriculture areas also, healthcare also. So those areas, I think, edge definitely will, according to me, will take next leap.
Superb. What proudest moment at work?
Of course, when we deliver solutions, it works, and our users actually compliment, right? And that's definitely for us as a tech people gives us the most satisfaction. So whenever we make something live, and when we take feedback, we go and take feedback on the ground also, and user tell us some good stories and some bad stories, of course. So sometimes we have to work on those bad stories, and we have to work on those issues, fixing that. But whatever you actually bring in and you implement, and that is working and delivering what is expected, gives us immense, of course, pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome. One last question. What predictions do you see in the tech cyberspace by 2030?
What frictions?
Predictions.
Predictions. Of course, the data leakage and data privacy is the most important, because see, we have seen in the past a few incidences where data is like leaked, and there were like certain restrictions put in by a regulator, right? So definitely with immensely growing data, and data especially on the devices like mobiles, etc. Like so data protection and data leakage is going to be the main thing going ahead also, like. So that is what the main challenge is.
Absolutely. Great. Superb. So this was very well done. Thank you so much, Naval. I have a few questions for you as well, Anurag. If not technology, what career space would you be in?
I think I'll be in law.
Okay.
I relate with the logical thinking, your critical analysis of situations, and obviously influencing. I think that could be my alternate path if I would not be in the tech area.
Superb. How do you unwind?
Obviously, unwind is with the friends in the evening. That's how typically, and I try to forget what is the day being, rather not overthinking about what the day has been, and then you all automatically get into an unwind mode.
Superb. If you could automate one task in your daily routine, what could it be?
So we all live in the city, which we have to commute a lot. I think that's one thing. If it can get automated, you reach to your office, spend hours on the road. I think that's something which you always
Maybe
dream
a
of.
robot driving a car.
Teleporting.
Teleporting. Wow. Do you see that as a prediction by 2030?
Possibly.
But yeah, that's the next question. Predictions on the tech in cyberspace by 2030.
So I think people will be, the way I think is the AI would take a very big shape is what we think, and the decision making will largely be depending on AI is how I see. I see there are a lot of things which may happen in the healthcare side possibly, and that's what I feel may really help today. We don't have any proper health systems which you can indicate something which is going to happen to you. Maybe some things which come up and tell you that give some prior warning to yourself that something wrong can go with you. So those are the things I think will evolve a lot.
Okay. One piece of advice you'd like to give to your younger self?
I have been content sort of the way things have sort of shaped up for me. So not really I want to really think about something which I could have done earlier. I think I'm pretty content with the way that thing is. But for the youngsters, I can obviously give a piece of advice to be more patient and not be sort of moving from one place to another. So that's one piece of advice I like to give to the youngsters.
Super. That was great. I actually wanted to ask you also, if not technology, what career space would you be in, Naval?
So I like to travel a lot. Okay. So maybe in the travel industry, hospitality industry, that is possibility. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. This was a great conversation. Thank you so much, Naval and Anurag, for joining us on the mainstream and sharing all your valuable insights. One, it is good to know you as individuals, and also, how do you see the space evolving? How do you see the sector evolving? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Khushbu.